Okay, so we're going to go over your Unit 6B test review, which is over volume. Your test will be after this review, so make sure you're ready. A couple things before we start. The formula for the volume of prisms is V equals capital B times H. The volume of pyramids will be V equals 1/3 times capital B times H, or you can change that to V equals capital B times H divided by 3. It is your choice, but just know that multiplying by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3, so you can use either one. Now, capital B is not a regular lowercase b that you're used to seeing. Capital B means it is the area of the base. So what you're doing is you're finding the area of whatever shape that the base has. Now, the base can either be a triangle or a rectangle. If it is a triangle, then the formula for a triangle is half times base times height, or you can change that to base times height divided by 2, because multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. So either one will work for a triangle. If you want to find the area of a rectangle or a square, it's going to be area equals base times height. So they use the same formula. All right. Number 1 says a rectangular aquarium is filled with 85.05 cubic feet of water. If the aquarium is 3 feet long and 6.3 feet wide, what is the depth of the aquarium? So, first thing is we want to know what shape we're talking about. It says it's a rectangular aquarium, so we have to think about what shape would that be. That would be a rectangular prism. Okay, so a rectangular aquarium is an example of a rectangular prism. So the formula that we're going to use for the volume is V equals capital B times H, because it is a prism. Okay, so capital B, which is the area of the base, we need to know what shape is the area of the base. Well, in a rectangular prism, the base is a rectangle. So the formula for the area of a rectangle is going to be, you can either do base times height, or you can do length times width. For this one, I'll just do length times width, but base times height you can also do, which is the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as V equals length times width times height. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the numbers that I have, starting with the V. So I ask myself, do I have the volume? Yes, I do. Okay, so when it says it's filled with this much cubic feet of water, that is the volume. So where the V is, I'm going to put 85.05 equals, I'm going to see if I have the length. I do. So length is how much it is long. So it's going to be 3 feet. So I'm going to put 3 where the L is, times the width. Okay, see if I have the width. I do. That's how wide it is. It is 6.3 feet. So I'm going to put 6.3 where the W is. Okay, times the height. All right, just so you know, these two numbers right here would represent my capital B. So I'm just going to put those in parentheses so that way you know that this represents capital B. Okay, so the main thing is you want to find out the depth, or basically the height of this aquarium. So you want to get the H by itself. So what I like to do is I like to put a line on my equal sign. All right, first thing I will do is I will go ahead and figure out what is 3 times 6.3 because I can. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and combine this and do 3 times 6.3. If I do that, I will get 18.9. I'll put my equals back. I will bring down my times h, or you can just put h. Okay, that's the same thing. This is still multiplication. And then bring down your 85.05, right? You still want to get h by itself. So that's multiplication. So all you would have to do is do the opposite operation. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So you're going to divide both sides by the number that has to go, which is 18.9. Okay. All right. On this side, your 18.9 will cancel out because that's equal to 1. So you're left with your h by itself, which is what you want. Bring down your equal sign, and then you just got to figure out 85.05 divided by 18.9, which is 4.5. So your h, or your depth, will be 4.5. Okay, so this is your depth. All right, and so basically it would be 4.5 feet. All right, so number 2, Kamala bought present boxes in the shape of a square pyramid to use for Christmas gifts. The side length of each box is 4.8 inches and the height is 6 inches. Kamala wants to fill each box with 80 colorful marbles for her kindergarten students. If each marble is 0.6 inches cubed, will Kamala be able to fit 80 marbles into each box? What will be the volume of the present box? And then how many marbles will the box hold? And then it says note to answer all 3 questions. Okay, so let's just underline the 3 questions that they're asking. Okay, so the first question that they're asking is, will Kamala be able to fit 80 marbles into each box? Okay, then it also asks what will be the volume of the present box. And then it asks how many marbles will the box hold. Okay, so what I would want to do first is I'll go ahead and find the volume because that's what we usually do first. All right, so let's figure out the shape that we're talking about. They said that this is a square pyramid. Okay, so that is a square pyramid. And because that is a square pyramid, then the formula that we're going to use is V equals capital B times H divided by 3. Or you can use V equals 1/3 capital B times H. But whatever it is, make sure it's the one for the pyramid. Okay, so I'm going to write that down here. Okay, so V equals capital B times H divided by 3. Okay, so I'm going to circle my capital B. Okay, we got to figure out what is the base so that way we can find the correct area. So the base of a square pyramid is a square. And so I'm just going to write that just so we understand that that's going to be the area of a square, this capital B. Okay, and the area of a square is going to be base times height. Okay, so it has the same formula as a rectangle. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fill in what we have. So we don't have the volume yet, so we're going to go ahead and leave that as a V and then put our equals. Okay, I'm going to open up for my capital B. All right, so it says the side length of each box is 4.8 inches. Okay, and so what that means is that the base of my square is 4.8 And also the height of my square is 4.8 because a square has equal sides. So it's going to be 4.8 times 4.8 because my base and my height of my square are the same. Then it's going to be multiplied by the height of the pyramid, which is 6. Okay. And then don't forget you got to divide by 3 because it's a pyramid. All right. We're going to go ahead and solve. So we have V equals, I'm going to open up and I'm going to do 4.8 times 4.8. If I do that, I'm going to get 23.04. I'm going to close it, put my 6 back, and then put my division by 3 back. Okay. Now I'm going to take care of my top, which is 23.04 times 6. So V equals 23.04 times 6. If you do that, you will get 138.24. Okay, then you still have to divide by 3. Okay, so you just took care of the top. All right, and so you're just left with doing 138.24 divided by 3. So your answer for the volume would be 46.08, and that would be inches cubed. Okay, so I'm going to box that and say this is the volume of my present box. Okay, now I'm not done because I had 3 questions to answer. Okay, I just answered the second one about the volume. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to figure out, because she wants to see, can she fit 80 marbles in there? Okay, so I'm going to try and see how many marbles I can actually fit in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to divide by the size of the marble, which is 0.6 inches cubed. So I'm going to take my 46.08 and divide by what I'm trying to fit in there. Okay, so I'm going to try and fit this size in there. So I'm going to divide by 0.6. Okay, remember when you're dividing decimals, the number that matters is the one on the outside, and what matters is that the decimal has to be at the end, and if it's not, I have to move it. So this one has to move once to get to the end. And then whatever I do on the outside, I do on the inside. So I'm going to move this decimal once, and I'm going to automatically shoot it up where it's at. Okay? All right, so if I do this, 46.08 divided by 0.6, I will end up getting 76.8. Okay. If you want me to see, if you want me to do it, I'll do it in front of you. Okay. So I move my decimal first. Make sure I put my decimal up top. 6 does not go into 4, so I put an X. 6 goes into 46. 7 times to get 42. I subtract, I get 4. I'm going to bring down my next number. I do one number at a time. Then 6 goes into 40. 6 times, and 6 times 6 is going to be 36. I subtract, I get 4. Bring down the next number. 6 goes into 48. 8 times, and 8 times 6 is 48. And so that's how you would get your 76.8. So this says that I get 76.8. So you can't have 76.8 marbles. You can't have a decimal of marbles. So what you have to do is just get the whole number part. So we're not necessarily rounding up into 77. Okay, we don't have 77 yet. So what we do have is 76. We can say 76. So can she fit 80 marbles? No, she can't. She can only fit 76. So the answer is going to be no. Kamala cannot fit 80 marbles into each box because the box can only hold 76 marbles. Okay, so 76 marbles is what can be fit into that box, not 80. Okay, so just remember, you're not rounding up for this. You have not got to 77 marbles yet, so it has to just be 76. Okay. Number 3, Joe and Mike are trying to fill their rectangular swimming pool from Walmart using jugs. Each jug holds 10 cubic feet of water, and it takes 150 full jugs to completely fill the pool. If the pool is 10 feet wide and 30 feet long, what is the depth of the pool? Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and find the volume. That's usually what I usually do first, right? So let's see if we can just go ahead and just find the volume for what we're doing. So V equals, we have to know the shape that we're talking about. Okay, so they said it's a rectangular swimming pool. Okay, and if that's the case, then that is a rectangular prism. Okay, definitely not a rectangular pyramid, so it's definitely a rectangular prism. So the formula that we're going to use is V equals capital B times H. Okay, so for right now, we want to see, okay, so it says each jug holds 10 cubic feet of water, and it takes 150 full jugs to completely fill the pool. So each jug, meaning one jug, so I'll write that. So one jug holds 10 cubic feet of water, and it takes 150 full jugs to completely fill the pool. So we're going to try and see how much water does it take to fill the pool. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 10 cubic feet of water and multiply that by 150 full jugs. Okay, so let's do that on the side. We're going to do 150 times 10. And if we do that, we'll get 1,500. Okay, cubic feet of water, okay, that it takes to fill the pool. All right, so now we're going to go back here. Okay, so our volume right now is going to be what we just got, which is 1,500 equals. All right, so our capital B, well, the base of a rectangular prism is a rectangle. And so the area for the rectangle is base times height. So what I'm going to do is just write that this will be base times height. Okay, or length times width, whatever you want it to be. So base times height or length times width. Okay, so we see if we have our length. We do 30 feet long, so it's going to be 30 times our width. We do, which is 10. Okay, and we want to know the depth of the pool or the height of the pool. We don't have it yet, so it's going to stay in H. It's going to stay a variable. So pretty much I just want to get H by itself to get to my answer. Okay, all right. Line on the equal sign. Let's take care of what we can take care of. So we're going to do 30 times 10, because we can do that. All right, 30 times 10, you will get 300. Okay, bring down your H and bring down your 1,500. Okay, you want to get H by itself still, so you would do the opposite operation. Okay, so we see that they are doing multiplication because there's no sign in between. So The opposite of multiplication is division, so we're going to divide because we always want to do the opposite operation in order to get rid of a number. So we're dividing by 300 on both sides. Okay? This cancels out because that's 1, and so you're left with your h, which is what you want, by itself. Bring down your equal sign, and then you just got to figure out 1,500 divided by 300, and your answer is going to be 5. So it's going to be 5 feet. That is your depth. Okay. Okay, so number 4 says that Mr. Bach plans to pour water into a trough like the one shown below. Mr. Bach has a water tank containing 5,000 cubic inches of water. He wants to know if his water tank has enough water to fill the entire trough. What would be the volume of the trough? Does the water tank have enough water to fill the trough? Okay, and then it says note to answer both questions. Okay, so our questions are, what would be the volume of the trough? And then, does the water tank have enough water to fill the trough? All right, so main thing I always start with is just to find the volume, which is knowing what the shape is. So we got to look at the shape. Well, this would be a triangular prism. Okay, so that is a triangular prism. So the formula that we're going to use, because it's a prism, is V equals capital B times H. Okay, now our capital B, we got to know what the base is of a triangular prism. Well, the shape of the base of a triangular prism is a triangle. Okay, you must know that the base of a triangular prism is a triangle. And so the formula for the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Or you can use half times base times height, which is the same thing. All right, so now I'm just going to rewrite that formula using this in the place of capital B. So V equals, and then where the capital B is, I'm going to plug this in. So base times height divided by 2. I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to put the H that was there. Okay, now I'm just going to plug in my numbers that I have. So we don't have the volume yet, we're looking for it, so it's going to stay a V equals, open parentheses, the base of my triangle, well, would be 20. So I'm going to put a 20 where that lowercase b is, times the height of my triangle. Remember, I'm just looking at the triangle, which is 16. Okay, divided by 2, close, and then find the height of your entire triangular prism. Remember, the definition of the height of a triangular prism is the distance between the two bases. Our two bases are the triangles. So whatever the distance is between it, that is the height of the entire prism, which is right here. So this would be the height of the entire prism. Okay, this number here, that's between your two triangles. So that would be 33. So I'm going to put a 33 where this H is. Okay, now all you have to do is solve. So you have V equals, open parentheses, you're going to solve the top first. You're going to do 20 times 16. If you do that, you will get 320. Okay, divided by 2, close parentheses, and put 33. Okay, and then you're going to keep on solving. So V equals, now you're going to do 320 divided by 2. So that's going to be 160. Okay, put your 33. And so all you have to do is do 160 times 33. So V equals, if you do that, you will get 5,280. And then it'll be inches cubed. Okay, so I'm going to box that because that is the answer for my volume. Okay, so I'm just going to write that that is the volume of my trough. Okay, so that's one question that we just answered. Now we have to answer, does the water tank have enough water to fill the entire trough? Well, he has only 5,000 cubic inches of water. The entire trough is 5,280. So I cannot fill the entire thing. I will have some left over. So the question is, does the water tank have enough water to fill the trough? No. It only has 5,000 cubic inches of water. In parentheses, I'll write not 5,280. So it's not enough because you wanted to get 5,280 to fill the whole thing. Okay. All right. Number 5. Nancy was given the task of creating a triangular pyramid using household materials. The height of her pyramid is shown in the diagram below. Okay, so here's your height. If the value of Nancy's model is 75.26 cubic feet, what is the area of the triangular base in square feet? Round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so they're asking you, what is the area of the triangular base? Okay, I'll get that too. That means they're just asking for what is capital B going to be equal to. So we're going to be solving to find capital B. Okay, so we always just start off with the formula for the volume. We are working with it says triangular pyramid, so we got to use the correct formula. So the formula is going to be V equals capital B times H divided by 3 because it's a pyramid. Okay, so we're just going to plug in what we have. We ask ourselves, do we have the volume? Yes, we do. Okay, 75.26 cubic feet will be the volume. So we're going to put that where the V is. Equals. Do we have capital B? No, we do not. We're looking for it. Okay, so we're going to leave it as capital B. Do we have the height? Yes, we do, which is 11. So times 11. And then you have your dividing by 3. Okay? All right. So you put a line on your equal sign so you can solve for B, or your capital B. Okay, first thing we want to do is get rid of the bottom number. We're solving in the opposite way we would solve PEMDAS. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the bottom. If they're dividing by 3, the opposite of division is multiplication, so we're going to multiply by 3 on both sides. Okay, this side will cancel out because it's equal to 1. So we would solve 75.26 times 3. If you do that, you will get 225.78. And then equals, and bring down the other side that's left, which is capital B, times 11. Now you want to get rid of the 11, so you would do the opposite operation. So this is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So you want to divide both sides by 11. This side cancels out because it's equal to 1. And so you're left with capital B, which is what you wanted by itself, equals, and then you just have to do 225.78 divided by 11. And if you do that, you will get 20.525, and then you have more numbers left. Okay, but remember, it did say that you can round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so you don't need all those numbers behind there. So we have 20.525. If we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, then the hundredths place would be the 2. We want to see whether the 2 would go up or stay the same. So we look behind it. This is a 5, which is big enough to push that 2 into a 3. So the answer is going to be 20.53, and it's going to be feet squared. Okay, because it is the area of the base, not the volume. And I'm going to box that.